This video is going to talk about the classical adjustments on the ASAD model in the likes of people like Adam Smith, who thought that the markets could adjust regularly, and therefore it was not needed for government to try to control macro markets or to try to influence macro markets, because even in recessions, the problem would fix itself through adjustments. So let's start with the idea of a recession. So let's say you have a paycheck of $1,000. Okay, we have our current production level. We're at a long-run equilibrium, so we're producing at our potential. And then the economy falls into recession due to a decrease in consumer spending. So the effect of that would be aggregate demand falls. We're going to be producing less. There's a lot of unemployed workers, so the unemployment's going to go up, as well as the price level will go down. So in both those instances, there's going to be a downward pressure on wages. But with the decreased price level, what happens in the short run is you, for the most part, with your $1,000 paycheck, if you're continuing that, what we call real wages are going to be on the rise, because you're going to feel richer because of the lower price level. So if prices begin falling, your same paycheck, your $1,000, will buy more actual goods and services. So it's going to feel like you're richer if you keep your job. Now, in the long run, what's going to happen is there's going to be that downward pressure on wages, because number one, firms are going to be experiencing less revenue, so they're going to have to cut employment, and there'll be the downward pressure on wages because of all those unemployed workers they could hire who are looking to make money because currently they're unemployed. So in the long run, nominal wages are going to decrease because of that downward pressure. You're going to feel richer, so you don't mind taking a pay cut versus losing your job. So there's the downward pressure on wages, which causes the short-run supply curve to increase, thus naturally getting back to our full employment. So the classicals believe there is no need for government intervention because this will happen as long as wages are flexible. And then that's what Keynes argued against, was the idea that wages aren't flexible because who takes a pay cut in a recession? The economy won't fix itself, but this is the example of how the economy can fix itself in a recession. Now, if we look at the same graph as before, where we start off at full employment, and let's say the economy goes well and we end up with some inflation. So the price level is going to rise and we produce beyond our capabilities, beyond our LRAS curve. So this upward pressure on prices and price level is going to mean that your paycheck is going to buy less in the short run, because in the short run your wages are fixed. So with real wages falling and price levels, because of price levels rising and things becoming more expensive, that in the long run you're going to want and need a pay raise. So in the long run, nominal wages will increase, causing the SRAS curve to decrease, thus naturally reaching, again, a long-run equilibrium where we're producing at our potential output. So again, this is kind of the classical arguments of adjustment of wages that allows for self-correction in the market. So therefore, for a long period of time up until the 1930s with Keynes and FDR and the policies that came out of the Great Depression, the idea was the economy will self-adjust. We just have to wait for the long run, and governments don't need to intervene. And so that was the crux of their argument, was that government is not necessary to reach or to re-reach equilibrium or potential output.